Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to be doing a side-by-side comparison between the Glock 43x 9mm and the Smith & Wesson Shield 40 cal. These are two of our guns that we take to the range quite often, so I thought it'd be a good time to break them both down and explain the differences between the two and some of the features that I like versus some that I dislike. So both of the firearms, obviously empty magazines. Safety first, always make sure you check your firearms, triple check your firearms before you start working with them to clean them. And obviously before you're working with them in any way. So we are clear on the Shield and we are clear on the Glock. So we are going to drop the slides on both of these. We're going to dry fire so we can go ahead and look at them side by side. So first off, takedowns of both of these firearms are really simple. Each firearm has a lever that you will drop to release the slides. Very simple breakdowns on each of these. These are great for beginners when it comes to having something very simple that you can work with to release, your slide, to pull out all of the components, your barrel, your spring, your slides and everything from the receiver, right? So you have all your upper portion and then you have your lower portion of your firearm. It's real easy for both of these to get into and to clean them out. So first off, side-by-side comparison, we have a single stack magazine here for the Shield. This is the 40 Smith & Wesson. This one holds 6 rounds. This is a single stack magazine, 6 rounds for this magazine. 7th round can be housed in the chamber. If you do carry, you can always carry with 1 in the chamber, whatever your personal preference is. There are times that I carry with 1 chamber and then times that I don't, so it just depends. But if you do carry with 1 in the chamber, you do have space to put 1 more into this magazine, if so. So with the Glock here, this one holds 10. This is a double stack. This one can hold 11, obviously, with 1 in the chamber. Okay, so both of these, so you have 11 with the Glock with 1 in the chamber, and you have 7 with the Shield with 1 in the chamber. Okay, but if not, then you have 6 and you have 10 rounds. When it comes to conceal and carry, you should always carry a second magazine, especially if you only have a capacity of 6. Unless you are, well trained with your firearm and you feel pretty confident with only carrying 6. We always make sure we have extra magazines. But yeah, that's again personal preference. So do as as you want, or your own personal preference. Depends too if you carry in a purse, if you carry on your hip, what type of holster you have, if you have one of the magazine holders that hooks into your belt loop, if you prefer in keeping like an extra magazine, in your car or in your lockbox in your vehicle, like what have you. So like I said, everybody, each to their own with this, whatever you feel comfortable with. Obviously, the more you work with your firearm, the more accurate you should be. But yeah, I prefer the Glock for my own personal carry, just because I like knowing that I do have a few extra rounds compared to the 40, although the 40 does hit harder compared to the 9mm. So there is also that factoring in, right? So your Shield here, even though it is smaller, hits harder. So if you guys are a first-time purchaser and you're trying to figure out, I want something small, and thinking, oh, okay, because it's smaller, it's gonna, hit less. It won't, it just depends. You need to understand your calibers when you're going into purchasing a firearm for the first time. So anyways, back to breaking these down. So we've talked about magazines and your quantities that you can have. Okay, so like I said, both these firearms are empty and cleared. We did that at the beginning of the video. So now we're going to break them down. Okay, so side-by-side comparison, the Shield is much smaller than the Glock. The handle on the Glock is longer. They both have polymer grips. They both have, like I said, I'll spin this one around so you guys can see. Breakdown levers for each firearm are going to be located right underneath the barrel here, right underneath your slides. So on the Glock 43, you have the release right here. This is located on both sides. In order to release your slide, you must pull down on both sides together as you have your barrel, right, as you have your slide engaged. You must pull down on both of those in order to engage the slide to remove it from your firearm. Okay, we'll do that in a moment. And then again, with the shield here, you're gonna have the takedown lever. You're going to engage your takedown lever, and then that is going to allow you to slide the rail, or slide the slide right off of your receiver. So both of these are pretty simple takedowns. So we're going to start by breaking down the Glock first, and running through these. Okay, so with the Glock, again, unloaded firearm. This is a Glock 43x, my personal preferred and carry. The trigger guard on this is more of a squared block style. I never thought, back when I was picking out my conceal and carry, I did not think that I wanted a Glock. I prefer Rugers personally, but once I held this in my hands, I could not take away from the fact that it was so slim, and as a woman, it's easier to conceal something that's slimmer. You can, easily conceal this under a dress or in, a skirt and blouse outfit. You could put it in your purse. You could put it in a smaller lockbox inside of your vehicle, with blue jeans and a loose t-shirt, or with a hoodie or anything like that. All different types of positioning, all different types of holsters. With this one, I prefer a leather holster, but different ones, I use different types of holsters for those. But anyway, so this one, I carry it on my hip with a leather holster. So we are going to go ahead and look down. There's no magazine, there's no, lost or stray round. We're going to go ahead and dry fire. Make sure your firearm is clear. So from this point on, we are going to grab, hold, and we are going to pop our slide back. We're going to pull down on our two levers, and then we are going to dry fire. And that is going to separate the receiver from your slide. Now in your slide, you're going to have your spring. Put this over here. And then you're also going to have your barrel. Just going, let's see, where are we? Okay. Just going to slide these right here. Okay. And again, with this 40. Okay, now with the 40, you are gonna wanna make sure, here's my little pen, that your deactivation lever within the body of your firearm is dropped down. So we're just going to go ahead. Okay, I'll show this beforehand so you guys can see. Okay, you can see one little lever in there, but in a moment there's going to be two. This lever is painted yellow. Ours is slightly worn off. Let's see, there we go. Right there, that small little hinge lever. All right, now at this point, you're going to engage your takedown lever. I always forget what it's called. Your takedown lever. Okay, you're going to release your slide. From this point on, you're going to disconnect your receiver from your top portion of your firearm. And we're going to keep all of our pieces separate and then do side-by-side comparisons. So same as the Glock, right? You have your receiver. Actually, I'm going to put all my pieces right here so you guys can see it. You're going to have your barrel. Okay, and then you're going to have your slide. Slide these all over so everybody can see. All right, so we have two disassembled guns. Both of these firearms now can be cleaned. You can maintain them. You can check, if you're switching anything out. Perhaps you went and purchased a new slide or a different receiver or something like that. This is how you'd break your firearm down, to clean or to switch some things out if that's, your personal preference. So now that we have both of the firearms broken down, we will do side-by-side comparisons here. So we have the Glock 43. So we have the Glock 43 receiver, and then we have the Shield 40. Okay, so side by side, you can definitely tell that there's a big difference in the size. Also, grip-wise, the Shield is much thicker, where the Glock is more streamlined. It's narrow, and that's personally why I like this one so much. It's about 1 1/10 of an inch in diameter going across. So it really slides right into like the palm of your hand really well, for me at least. Everybody has their own personal preference. This one is slightly shorter with the Smith & Wesson here. I have larger hands and longer fingers. So when I was looking for a conceal and carry, it was really important to me that I had something that I felt like I could, you know, hang on to and feel 100% confident with. This one I can wrap all of my hand around. Whereas the Shield, not so much. Not so much. Leaves your pinky hanging out there. And then, you know, obviously when you're firing, you have to figure out different hand positioning because, you know, your receiver's a little shorter in the handle. Okay, so side-by-side comparisons on both of those. Both of these do have different triggers on them, obviously, and they each have different guards. So I highly suggest going and putting your hands on a firearm, seeing if your friends have any, if you are, you know, in the market and shopping around. This one has a more squared style, and this one has a more rounded. Both of the slides, they look pretty similar. They both have iron sights. They both have that open indicator where you can see that your barrel is in the chamber. Different firearms have different types of indicators, whether or not I don't want to say your firearm's loaded. If you have a round in the chamber, sometimes there's a little indicator where your barrel will stick up just a little bit, or there'll be a teeny tiny like thin gap where you can see your brass or your steel through there. Each firearm is different, so when you're looking for one, trying to do your research, make sure you figure that out, because way back when I first started carrying, I wanted to know like 100%, like I wanted to know that I chambered one, and I had to physically see it, like just for my own confidence, my own comfort level, to like mentally remind myself where I'm at. Years later, with my Glock, I know 100%, you know, looking down the barrel if there's one in the chamber or if there's not. Also, obviously, you know if you've loaded one. So upper and lowers. Iron sights also on this one. You can look down your barrel. Open sights. Okay, let's see. Both of the barrels obviously have the ends drilled where your barrel comes out, and then also where your springs are loaded. This is a good time if you're not sure the whole mechanics of your firearm to take time, research each individual piece. So this one here on the Glock, so we have the Glock here, is much wider than the Smith & Wesson, the Shield. So the Glock versus the Shield, there's a noticeable difference when you're looking down the barrels of each. Springs are pretty similar. So we have the Glock over here, and then the Shield 40 over here. The Glock spring is slightly wider. And then obviously you can see that the spring design is slightly different, just a little different. And barrel wise, slide this piece back over. The Glock barrel is noticeably different. It's much longer. Obviously the 40 is much wider. So we have the 40 over here, it's a higher caliber. It's much wider, but the Glock barrel is longer. So the Glock is longer, the 40 is shorter, but the 40 is also a slim compact, right? When we were looking at the receivers, it was very noticeable which one was larger and which one was shorter, right? So it makes sense. Shorter barrel goes with shorter firearm, longer goes with the longer. So reassembling these, you do it step by step with each. So you're gonna go ahead and drop your barrel back in, and you're going to engage your spring. Now with both firearms, you wanna make sure that your spring is centered. Some fuzz from the towel. Make sure that both are centered, ready to go. Now, putting them both on, like I said in the beginning of the video, each one, the breakdown is different. So obviously reassembling is going to be a little different for each of them, okay? So our levers are all ready to go. Our barrel is in, our spring is engaged, everything is our shield. You're going to line up. So the top of your slide has tracks. Your receiver also has tracks, okay? So just like a train staying on the tracks, you're just going to slide it down. When you get to this point, you're going to pull it all the way back, okay? You're going to pull it back, just like with the Glock. Remember back with the Glock, we grabbed, hold, and then hit the release. So you're going to pull it back and you're going to engage. Let's see if I can do it with my left hand. Nope, not quite. Just like that. You're going to engage your lock, okay? Your takedown lock. Rack it. Sliding good. Trigger. We have to re-engage our trigger. Our slide will lock back. Pop that out. Drop our slide. Testing your firearm, dry firing it. There we go. So this one is completely reassembled. There is our, make sure this is good. This one is the Smith & Wesson Shield 40 cal. Now we are going to reassemble the Glock. The Glock is super sweet and simple. You literally, just like a train on the tracks, line it up, drop it down, and you are ready to go. So the breakdown on the Glock is much faster. What was it? 13 seconds or 10 seconds? I have a video I'll have to share where we broke this down in no time at all, where the shield takes me a little bit more time, just because the stiffness of the lever here, dropping it down, there's a lot of pressure on it. So sometimes, you know, you really have to get on it in order to take it apart. But that is a side-by-side comparison of the 43x, the Glock 43x, and the Smith & Wesson Shield 40 cal. Let me see if, I'm trying to think if we hit everything. I think so. So make sure that you guys leave any type of questions or comments in the comment section. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button so we can provide you guys with some more content. Also, let us know if there are any other type of gun field strip breakdowns that you guys would like to see. We have all different types in our collection, so more videos will be coming of all different types, also different product reviews, and also different additions to our Freedom Warrior project, which is located, you guys can check out all of those apparel items on Minty's Militia on Facebook. So make sure you go head over to Minty's Militia on Facebook. Make sure you guys follow us over there and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.